Okay, so September 7th, 2020, as you can see, people. Alright, so I am a little slow today. I did 2 days out in the yard hardcore. So now I'm going to do this because I've got some blueberries in the fridge and some plums that I juiced. This needs to be actually canned. So I will can that after I make some more juice. Then I take the apple and I combine it. I have to do this, so hold on.
Thinking about the fact that God is often, well, that he had often seen God, and that actually everyone had the ability to see God, but he wouldn't get specific. He wouldn't give us the specifics. And we were like so intrigued as kids. We were like, well, what does God look like? Does he have white hair? Does he have black hair? Does he have a long beard? Is he tall? Is he short? What color is his mustache? I mean, we were just like, and my dad would just smile and say, well, if you are observant enough, you'll see him. And this had gone on for probably, I don't know, a while, a couple of months at least. And so we're driving down the road, and we had the same dialogue, the same questions that we were asking. And my dad says, well, do you want to see God? And we were like, whoa, wait a second, like we can see God? And he said, well, if you want to see him, I think that we can see him today. And so my brother and I were like, yeah, okay, well, this is fantastic. I think it was dinging, so I turned it off. Couldn't understand how this was going to happen, but we were excited. And so my dad pulls over on the side of the interstate, and there was this big field. And we're thinking, what are you pulling over for? And he's like, well, we're going to see God. And I'm like, wait a second, see God on the side of the highway? I mean, it's not... That was like 40 years ago. And, I'm standing there, and trying to figure out what my dad's playing at, and my brother is, a year younger than me, but he's a little bit more mischievous, a little bit more naive. And so my dad says, okay, you gotta be quiet. And my dad squats down in the field, so his head's just above the flowers. And so, we're just kids, so we kind of like squat, but we're not squatting as low, because if you were, we couldn't see over the edge of the flower, so we kind of like just kind of, bending our knees, and we're looking be patient, and you'll see God. And so we're standing there, and 30 seconds goes by, a minute goes by, and the wind's kind of, blowing, and we can hear. We probably walked maybe, I don't know, 100 feet into the field, so you weren't right by the highway. We could be here, the cars kind of going back and forth, but it wasn't, it was off to, a little bit of distance. And we're watching, and I don't see any God. My brother doesn't see any God. We just see these flowers and see the breeze. And my brother says, I don't see God. And my dad's like, shh, pay attention. So we're watching, and we're watching, and then suddenly a butterfly comes flying up and sits on a flower maybe 10 feet away from us. And my dad says, there. And we're like totally attention on like, where? And I can see this butterfly. I'm trying to figure out, is the butterfly blocking? Where is this? It's one of those big monarch butterflies. And my dad says, right there. And we're looking, like, where? And then the monarch butterfly flies up and he goes, there it's going right now. We're like, what? And then a white butterfly flies by, and my dad said, there's another one. And then a bird kind of comes and perches over, and of course we've been still, so because we've been still there, some of the natural, the roads, longer commutes, roads, longer commutes.
Want.
Okay. Hey people, so
You can start there, and then later, if you want, you can bring it down. But you can show them what you're doing. Okay?
I guess I'm gonna be breaking these today. Breaking off the things of them.
I don't know
You
what
have to
they're
do them
called.
like very carefully
Yeah,
for them not to like fully break.
but you have a system now. I'm pretty impressed.
This side, and don't smash too hard with this side with a tool. It breaks it easy. If you smash it like a little bit hard, it will break good. Smash it light, so it breaks good. See? Use this side, and it breaks good. And hold on. And so I'm gonna bring them. So like I'm making them in piles. So you have to do it like very easy. And that's like just working in there, taking out dirt.
Taking out the river rocks. The little river rocks, the decoration rocks, so I can get in here and continue sculpting it out. Yeah.
Nana, are you like this? Break.
Yeah, I don't know. You got a good system going on. I'm pretty impressed. Don't forget to show them how you do it.
Okay. And like, this is how I do it. Watch. So like, I get a hammer. See? Worked it so easy. So like, I'm showing them how you do it.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, I guess you can use this part too. Boom. It's nice and flat. Then oh my swag, where did you come from? Ew.
We're in a rock quarry.
Say what?
A rock quarry. Between what you're doing and what I'm doing, we're around a bunch of rocks. It's when you get lots of rocks like this, it becomes a quarry, which means lots and lots and lots and lots of things that come from the ground. Ores, a lot of ores.
Or coal.
Yeah,
Which I got in Minecraft.
yeah. Are you still recording?
Yep.
Oh.
I don't know how many seconds this fan has.
Tell them the story, what we're doing.
Okay, well, like where we are like, now it's taking out the rocks in the pond rocks, and I'm just breaking this part off. So what? You have to be careful when you're breaking them because if you like break them not so good, if you break them good, they turn like this. If you break them bad, turn like this. So, and that's it. Hold on.
Later and show them. Okay, people, so now you got me. So what is it? August 10th? 9th? 8th. I think it's August 8th. Anyway, you can see we're halfway through this, people. Seriously, we're at or past the halfway mark. Okay, now I'm gonna see if I can put in a little bridge here, right? So I'm gonna bring out another 4x4 beam, and I'm gonna imagine a bridge in as I go about doing what I'm doing, and like I'll gate this off, right, where you can open the gate and then go on the bridge. But of course the bridge itself is probably going to need, well, I don't know if it needs a rail because this here is not going to be that deep, right? And as long as I put a shelf down there, it will be fine. Now I can go out another 2 feet in here. You can see this, people. So it compensates for that slope up there, which if I was to put in a bridge from distance to distance, right, you know, from point to point, those 4x4s that I have should be long enough to do that, and then I would have to only run slats, you know, basically, right? And then it's just for the memory of it, you know. So probably going to do that. I'm going to take those light things. Now I'm just going to place them where I think I might want them. I'm going to place them today where I think I might want them because that's fun to do, right? And as I'm going about my travels, now that I know how simple it is in terms of how those work, right? I'm going to see if I can find some paraphernalia around here to make 1 or 2 more. And then, so this pond is going to have lights, people. Oh, so excited for that. So I'm going to place those where I think I might want them because you'd have to cement them a little bit into the ground, or post them. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to make them so they don't move once you set them up, and you know you have to protect your cords, right? So I mean I have lots of vacuum cleaner hoses specifically to protect cords. If you've been watching my videos, or if you've gone back into my videos, you would find videos of me out over by the rabbit hutch after they, you know, dug up everything and replaced the mainline pipe and then threw everything back together and left me a big hole because I asked them to do that for a pond. When I was working on the small pond, right, before this one, I had to run cord, and I buried it into the ground, and you wrap it with piping of some kind. So there's videos of me doing that. So as I work with these lamp posts, right, I have to factor that in too, only I don't think I'd bury them into the ground because the distance in here is not very much, although if I wanted to put one here and go all the way around, well, I have the piping for that. So when my landlady says, why do you keep that? Why do you keep that? Well, that long-ass piping that's like just been kicking around for the last 2-3 years might just come in handy for what I need, especially if I want to put a light, which in this situation, it would probably look very nice to have it right here, people. But if you notice, look at the distance. You have to go all the way around to get to the plug, right? So I have piping enough to wrap the cord with. You don't have to go deep into the ground in this situation. Over there I had to though because I have bricks there. So I took up all the bricks, people, right? I took up all the bricks. That's the last time I did this. All these bricks here were laid down. I took them up because the cord right? Goes all into here, right? Underneath this, right? And then it goes to there, right? And so underneath here is an electrical cord with a protection pipe around it, right? I use different kinds. Hold on. Okay, so the thing about what I like about out here, people, you know, anywhere I go in this yard, I suppose, is it helps Andre to learn critical thinking skills. Okay, because here's the issue, and I want you to put on your thinking cap. Okay, so we know what's going on here. We know that we're going to do a 4 or 6 inch shelf, and then we know that we're going to go down at least another foot and then eventually cut that off. And then what happens is when you cut it off at that point, it's going to go down probably another 1 to 2 feet, okay, which will be the deepest part of the pond. With the circumference of that is exactly what you want for fish to hide at the very bottom of the pond, whether for the winter time, because that's what they'll do, and they'll just stay there, right? When the water freezes, or if they want to get away from predators, okay, you got to go down at least 4 feet deep. So at the center point of the pond, we should be almost, well, I'm pretty sure I got pretty damn close. I was in that hole. You can go find another video on that one. So, okay, so here we got a shelf here. Obviously it cuts off there. I'm sorry. It cuts off there, so I'm going to start in here. And then we're going to, I asked my son, I says, would you mind if I put in a waterfall? Or he asked me, he said, are you putting in a waterfall? And I said, well, I don't know. I don't want the noise to be bothering you, right? And he goes, oh, no, it's a different kind of sound, right? So I'm going to put in some kind of waterfall. I'm not sure yet exactly what kind of waterfall. This broke, but before I throw it out, I still might just cut out a hole in there and then do something with that because that's a nice shape, right? Anyway, maybe I can have a waterfall that jumps. There's an idea. Something that jumps. One goes from one to the other and then down. I don't know. But anyway, here's the base of this. So I think I'm going to take my shovel. You see, this is where we're putting on our thinking cap. What are we doing here? Take my shovel and continue in here. That's a lot of dirt to carry out. Again, you think, oh, that's not very much. Well, that's probably about 20 to 30 buckets of dirt by the time you get done with it. Okay. My wheelbarrow is over there, but I need a wheel put on it. Where am I? Blind as a bat, people. Can't see shit. There. It's in there somewhere. The wheel is rusted on and I don't have time to change wheels, but it would make sense to, but not really right now because I'm doing these things. I'm sitting on, right? I'm making these things here, so you work with what you got. I got buckets, I got arms, I got legs, I got motivation, I got everything I need. We just need a plan. So stay with this. Kind of make it as uniform as you can. Alright, so I'll start chiseling, take out as much dirt as I can. At least down to where I'm at right now with that. And of course, don't forget, you got that little bit to take out too. Right? Because the water line, again, I don't know what I'm doing, but if I was to have a water line, people, that would be basically my water line. That's why if the water rises above, goes into here, it's going to come into contact with a whole place. That's a lot of water that can hold in here that will eventually just seep out or evaporate out, right? You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have plants in here that are going to suck up water too, right? Just simple plants that don't root too deep, right? Like, you know, your organos and, or maybe, yeah, organo is a good one. The marigold, you know, you can put a few spices in here, right? And let them take root. And then so that's what I'm going to do. Hold on. Oh yeah, look at Andre. He's getting real fast. Getting real fast at this. he figured this out, people. He used his own critical thinking skills to figure out how to be more productive, to get a better product, with learning to figure out how to hit these bricks basically in the right spot. Now, mind you, these things have been sitting in a box for years and years and years and years and years. So in light of that, I think he's doing a really good job. Yeah, you still got me. I'm in the rock quarry, people. Serious. You know, when I do like this, and I'm having to go through, rocks are expensive to buy, right? And you know, I gotta take out more dirt. So before I'll complain about it, you know, just get on with the job, right? Try and teach Andre that, you know, when you're working, here, thank you. When you're working,
I'm gonna go back inside the house.
you can't chat. Especially if you're hammering, sawing something, you know, walking on scaffolding or whatever. You know, thinking about something, moving something. Right? Try and teach him that when you're working, you just focus on your work. You don't go to work to talk. You go to work to work. Right? So that goes down to those life skills, right? I don't know if he'll ever get it because he likes to talk a lot. But he's still young, right? So in the meantime, you know, being that I mentioned that, you know, I'm just seeing this to the bitter end here, right? I'm just seeing through this, right, people? I'm finishing the job, right? You know, you got to look at the value of, well, if you lived up close to the desert, you sure in hell wouldn't be complaining about no damn rocks. You'd be happy to have those rocks. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, yeah, there's an idea. You got a foundation. Why don't you find a way to gather up a bunch of rocks and ship them off to people who need them so that they can start building up their grounds, right? To build in oases within the desert because they have rocks to build with, right? You know, in terms of adding nutrients into the ground, or, you know, just giving it more structure, right? To build in nutrients. So I just wanted to show you where I'm at. I'll be here pretty much all day. Right? I'm working again till dark. Right? I did get I got 2 more jars of apple juice canned and some plum with blueberry, because I cooked what little plums I had left in with the blueberry, and then I made fruit leather. I made plum blueberry fruit leather, and then I did apple plum fruit leather, and I got 3 jars of plum blueberry with just a little bit of leftover apple juice. I threw it all into one pot, so I got 5 jars. 5 more jars of juice, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I still have a lot of apples, man. I'm getting kind of tired of this, but I still have to can beans, right? I'm doing that because I like those beans like that, and my tomatoes are growing, so I figured it would be a late season this year. I was really hoping it would be, and so far it is. So I'm getting tomatoes in my greenhouse, people, which is good, right? So I'll can and freeze between whatever I decide to do. Right now I pulled out those little green tomatoes that were out here because it was cold, right? And for whatever reason the plant was dying, so once the plant starts to kind of go like that, you gotta time, you know. So I got them in a box in between newspaper, and those ones I'll probably just freeze. Technically, you're not supposed to can tomatoes that haven't ripened, quote unquote, on the vine, right? Technically, you're not supposed to. And you don't really want to can them when the plant is completely whatever at the end of its days. Technically, you're not supposed to do that either. So, but I showed you those tomatoes that I've got in my freezer that I put in there, what, 3 years ago or whatever it was when I had that humongous crop of tomatoes all over my yard. And they're perfectly fine. No, nothing wrong with them. So between canning some green tomatoes or I won't ripen them and then can them. I'd ripen them and freeze them, but I wouldn't can them. But I would can green tomatoes. I'll do something with, I'll do a few jars of green tomatoes for sure. Right? Because I don't think they're going to fully ripen in the greenhouse. But I will probably get a fair yield in terms of green tomatoes. And I don't mind freezing some, I don't mind canning some, and I don't mind ripening some. So, and then freezing. So it works out pretty good for me that way. So this is where I am though for the day. And I'll bring you back and I'll show you, right, how far we get. I'll walk you through it, right? It's already starting to feel nice in here, people. It's got a good aura. Very nice aura. It's going to be a very nice home for a couple of fish. 4 to 5 fish. Yep. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to go down a little deeper. I'm going to get a hacksaw, I guess. I'm going to try, this is a plexiglass of some kind. Well, not a plexiglass, it's fiberglass, right, of some kind. So I'm going to see if I can just maybe saw it, right, just saw off that part. Just there, 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 there. And then I'm going to see if I can piece these in here, right, just as shelter to get away from anything that was crawling around at night. Right? And I'm not sure how I'm going to put it in yet, but I've been saying it from the very beginning. That's why I've been keeping this thing all these years. Otherwise, I would never have brought it home. Why you bring that home? Well, Mrs. Gill, because I have a plan for it. Now, if I had more help, if I had money, people, I'd be paying people to do this, but I don't. So, this is the way I'm going to tackle this situation. I'm going to keep this pretty much right here because I have these beautiful, beautiful boulders. You can see I've got them all over the place, people. Look at that one over there. That's a nice one. And there's a big-ass boulder. My son can pick that up. That's what he does. He helps me out with moving rocks around town. Well, around this yard anyway. So, I think that's what look really nice there. And it will help to hold the rubber, right? Because don't forget, you're going to come in with the rubber. So the rubber is going to, right? I'll probably, honestly, I'm going to see. I don't know how to, you don't want to break the rubber, right? So I might have to try and piece it in first, right? So just imagine a hole in there, and that fits into the hole. So you lay your rubber, give it a bit of slack, push it into the hole, and then insert that and lean up a couple rocks against it, and it will hold it in place. And if the fish want, they can go in here and hide. See how easy that is? Right? In the meantime, the rest of the rubber, it goes up like this. This here is 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4, 5, maybe. I've got 1 made, and I need, well, 2 to 3, so I'll make 3 more anyway. See how far it takes me. And then, you can see how that, where am I? See how that boulder's up against that? Well, that's what you would do. You'd run that, and then you take these big-ass rocks, like this one here, for example. That's a big rock, people. Look at this one. This is huge. And you just chisel them in nicely, right? So they sit snug on top of the rubber, and then you're good to go. And then build in the little waterfall. Doesn't have to be a big one, just a little one, because I got a tire there with the fern, so it's going to have to kind of go, move this rock, it will come down a bit, the waterfall will come up in behind there somewhere, and then this filter will go in behind the tree, right? And then, right? So I kind of like that look. in terms of, sorry, do you see how that is? Honestly, I kind of like it. It looks like there's a big ass rock in there, and I'm debating whether I should leave that rock there to give it natural support so that you don't get, I don't want to say soil erosion, but so that the ground doesn't, right? You know, that rock gives this shelf support. It will keep, it will hold, because I get a lot of, whatever, all right? So I'm thinking, just dig down deeper in here, leave this, I kind of like that slope, right? This rock I'll move. You can see I've already got the boulders there, right? So the water line, we'll just say, is this. So technically, those boulders should stay there, and I should just build another little, do what I did here and just extend it somehow, some way to this point, right? And I can or cannot have a shelf, it depends, whatever I want. I can dig down and make it whatever, or I can leave it like that, because the water line, because fish, you know, they like to do different things, right? I'm making a home for fish, people. Now I'm thinking about the fish. I'm not thinking about the people. I'm not thinking about the predators that, you know, want to feed on the fish. I'm thinking about actual making a nice home for fish. If I was a fish and someone was making me a home, what would I want? That's what I'm thinking about, okay? I'm putting my mind in the mind of a fish. So I can move that rock. I can probably move those other rocks, continue building on this shelf, and then when it comes time to lay the vinyl, obviously the vinyl will go in there, it will come up through here, it will continue to go up through there. You see the line of bricks there, that line, right? Those can all come up so that the vinyl can come up and over the shelf, right? Same thing in there. It will come up, it will lift up those bricks, it will go underneath those bricks, put those bricks back down, and then take some big ass rocks or whatever and put on there to hold it. Well, the same would apply here, right? Those are easy enough to pick up, run the vinyl, put them back down. Those bricks, you pick them up, right? You run your vinyl through there, put it back down, okay? So I'm going to build in a little shelf here to give it just a little extra support, so I can either run plants on it if I want, more like a water plant, or I can put these big ass boulders back on top, right? That's what I'm going to do, because in here this is going to be very shallow up in here. Well, if I'm putting a bridge in, it depends how shallow I'm going to go, right? Because, you know, but hey, it's coming along, it's looking pretty good. Okay, camera's getting dusty again, people. Now here's something else people would die for. Clay. I have it all over the place. Alright, because you need a little bit of clay to make good dirt. You do, because it has its own nutrients. Alright, own properties. So anyway, I'm just gathering it up here. Alright, and we'll do some science experiments with Andre. Right, we'll mix it up and we'll pulsate it into a blender and emulsify it and let it settle, and you know, remember that one, right? But do you see what I mean by I'm in a quarry? Do you see that? It's like a vein. I got myself a clay vein. Could be gold, people. For some people it would be gold. If they had clay like this, boy oh boy, they'd be in their glory. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm on to my 6th or 7th bucket. You can see how big that bucket is. The thing about ponds, like I said this before, people, what you think is just a little bit of dirt ends up being 50 fucking buckets, and even then I'm probably looking at, as I'm looking at this right now, in my head, right, thinking how I'm going to do this, I've decided to keep, because there's 2 of them, there's 2 rocks there, I don't know if you can see it, but can you see? So I've decided to keep that slope there, right? I kind of like it. I'm going to dig this down a little deeper. You can see I'm building in a ledge now, so I'm going to work on building a ledge. Go down another foot anyway along this, bring it up and through here, and this is where I'm going to get another 20 more buckets. all in through here, if not more. 20 to 30 buckets of dirt, which you think is not a lot of dirt. Oh, that's not very much dirt. Oh, yeah, that'd be no problem. You'll get another 20 to 30 more of those. So by the time you're done, you know, since I started this, I've done at least 50 buckets already, at least in the last, what, week? Right? And I'll probably get another 10 more today anyway, for sure, by the time I'm going to call it quits. And I'm on number 6 or 7. Because I'm going to just dig down a little more. Like I said, chisel my way that way. And then I'm going to start digging out in there. Especially if I'm going to put in a little bridge. Right? You can see how high that is over there. That's too high. That all has to come out. So I'm like, damn, where are you going to put it? You filled up over there. Now you're filling up over there. You filled up over there. And I'm like, well, maybe you can do something behind that. I put a whole bunch of dirt in there. And this isn't like it's primo dirt either, right? I'm going to have to blend it in and enrich it. But for now, some dirt, clay and rocks and all that is better than no dirt. So I'm not complaining, okay? So as you can see, I think that's what I'm going to do. I wasn't looking forward to taking out another 20 to maybe 40 more buckets of dirt. But, you know, you want to do a good job, right? Because you have to remember, that's the water line, and then you build in the shelf, so I'm going to have to go down another 2 feet. Because this goes down at least 4. Right? And you see, I kind of have to go down a little deeper in here. Look at that. It comes from this thing. That's where it comes from. That's why I'm doing this. So now I'm going to do it in here. That's what this stuff is for. Right? And then I've got more of this corrugated plastic that goes on top of the roof, only it's green. So all in here I'm going to be doing the same thing. But I have to go down deeper. And you can see that root. How far down deep, I don't know yet.
Saying about the Trump administration. Talked about the facts again when they're not political facts. Do you think that what you just heard is anything but a political fact? That now somehow out-of-state students that they didn't test anyway, because they didn't test any of the students beforehand. Remember, Max Suko, SUNY Oneonta, has 6,000 students. So we got 651 positives, more than 10% of the kids that go to school there. And they're not talking about all the ones that are off campus. They're not talking about how grandma's not dead. They're certainly not talking about how there's 0 hospitalizations here. And I just want to show you not only that article right here, and again, you got Delhi having some cases now, and Hartwick's next door, but they haven't shut down because they're at a minimum of cases, right? They say they have 43 students quarantined and 139 isolated on campus. Right? This is
some of these YouTubers
everybody's supposed to leave by yesterday.
are like fucking fake.
Maybe it happened so fast they had to extend that. I don't know.
Seriously.
Perhaps
they're fucking fake.
Families didn't want to pick those kids up.
I don't know if this guy's fake yet.
Perhaps all those kids.
But there's a few of them that are on YouTube.
There's really
Ice Farmer is one of them.
The facts
I'll just show you.
My local government certainly isn't telling the truth.
We'll come back.
And now we've got contact tracing.